and also how he was not connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and there's nothing to see here. Julie K. Brown, fact, Epstein was arrested in 2019. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general. Biden was not president. Trump was president. Bill Barr became attorney general that year. Trump then forced the U.S. attorney who brought the criminal case against Epstein to resign. There's a couple things related to Epstein that I want to finish off. I mean, look, Charlie is just polishing this shit off. You know what I mean? Two establishment Dem Titans going at it. I know we got Harry Hassan. Don't worry. We got Harry Hassan, Biden scandal, Gen Z Democrats. Do not worry. We'll be covering that, obviously. I already covered this. The DOJ has fired the Jeffrey Epstein prosecutor. I already mentioned that. Mike Flynn put out an open letter to the Trump administration, QAnon's very own. I'm going to skip that. But here, an unlikely ally has joined the battle. Let's take a look.
And now this administration is kind of looking like more of what you oppose, that they're covering for the powerful. Now, by the way, I don't believe that that's what this administration is doing. Certainly not to cover for Trump. Those pictures online of him with Epstein and the young girl and the hand, it's fake. I can't show you the picture, and I shouldn't show it to you because it's just going to keep the fakery going. He knew Epstein. He liked Epstein. He partied with Epstein. But he also knew that he was a creep, and he took some private action against him. And I've never seen proof that ties Trump to any of the ugly, disgusting, illegal, and lascivious behavior that Epstein loved.
Dude, it's really funny. Now that his brother got shafted by the voting base of the Democratic Party in the primaries for New York mayor, he's just lost his mind. He already had lost his mind. He already lost his career, hitching his wagon to his brother. Now he's stuck on News Nation. And now he's just like trying to reinvent himself. It's awesome. It's great.
So I actually find Trump's position on Epstein to be pretty reasonable for him. And now
here's Mick Mulvaney.
You said the Jeffrey Epstein scandal
Yeah.
would have no political impact at all on Trump's election chances. And you were right about that.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
But it's certainly impacting his presidency. It's divided the MAGA base. Many conservatives are furious with him and his administration. Trump, of course, is a former close friend of Epstein's. They're furious at him for not releasing the Epstein files as he promised he would. Is it because, as Elon Musk has said, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
No, absolutely not. He's in the files. A lot of people in the files. This is if there was something in the files that was particularly damning about Donald Trump, the files would have been released by the Biden administration.
No, that's not true. There ain't no way that would happen, actually. There ain't no way that would happen. And the reason why that wouldn't happen is for two reasons. One, because there's plenty of prominent liberals that they don't want to let go of that are in them. Okay? Yo, HasanAbi, you know everything, right? I mean, on this issue, I know as much as you can know. Guilty by association? Really? Really? You're trying to do this shit? Really? Right now? That's crazy, man. For years and years, I've talked about Bill and Hillary Clinton being involved with the Epsteins and how up this is. And how the Democrats are actually, I'm literally in the process of describing to you why the Democrats haven't released this information when they were in charge. I'm not the partisan here. You are.
Not if it was damning about Bill Clinton as well. Not if it was damning about.
Can I please just, okay.
Yeah, that's the reason. It's because there's shit about the Clintons in there and many other Democrats as well. And also, even if there wasn't shit about Bill Clinton and many other Democrats in there, there are obviously a shit ton of like liberal boosters, liberal donors in there that are directly ones that we do know of, just like we know of the Republicans that are involved, like Alan Dershowitz. And liberals are exactly the type of people that would never release this because they believe in the infallibility of institutions and they think that this would be like too disruptive. If the Trump administration thinks it's too disruptive, then any liberal administration would be far too careful, far too scared to actually reveal any of this information. If it had any ties to Israel, for example, they would never do it. And I say this as someone who didn't think Trump was going to reveal this information either.
If it was really damning about Donald Trump, they would have released at least that part. My guess is, and it's an educated guess.
Yeah, you could say the same about Democrats now. If it was really damning about the Democrats, Trump would release that part. Why is he not releasing it? Because it's the same thing. Mutually assured pedophilia. Mutually assured destruction of pedophilia, okay? It's the mad principle, but for pedophiles. It's the mad principle for illicit sex trafficking. That's it.
Is that it's particularly damning of very important people on both sides of the political aisle, which is why Trump doesn't want to release it and why Biden didn't release it either. If it was just about Trump, it would have come out.
You were the chief of staff when Epstein apparently died by suicide
Was I?
in prison.
Yeah,
you were.
yeah,
Yeah, we
I think
checked.
so, yeah.
Trump at the time baselessly suggested that Bill Clinton might have done, as he does.
Baselessly? Okay.
You think Bill Clinton might have? Okay. Just checking. I don't know how loyal
Is
you
Bill
are
Clinton
to.
on the list?
I mean, you were
Probably.
chief of staff at the time. You didn't come out and correct him, so maybe you do share that insane view.
Not my job.
That literally is your job
No,
as
it's
chief of
not.
staff.
No.
You just said
As-
earlier,
as
the
between-
chief of staff
Yeah,
controls
yeah.
information coming to Donald Trump.
That's crazy.
Who told him that Bill Clinton
It's not the job of the chief of staff to protect, to correct the president of the United States. And
You
between who knows the job of the chief of staff, you know a lot about a lot. You don't know a lot about.
But you just told me the definition was to protect Donald Trump, so you failed.
The job of the president of the United States is to make sure he gets good information.
And he failed because someone told him that Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and you didn't protect
they?
him from that.
Did they tell him?
Yeah, he retweeted a post saying that Bill Clinton could have.
So again,
I mean, you're saying you didn't see any of the video stuff, you weren't involved, this doesn't rise to the level of chief of staff or the White House, and yet you're confidently saying that Elon Musk is wrong and his name's not in the files. How do you know?
no, I didn't. No, I absolutely didn't. In fact, I think if you go back and look at the tape, I said I imagine that Donald Trump's name is in the file someplace. There's photographs of them together. Okay. So if there's a file someplace, which I assume there is,
Trump says his name is not in anything. So he's lying.
I could imagine. Why? There'd be photographs of him.
But he said it's not him.
I have no idea.
That wasn't me. I don't know him. Even though I wish Ghislaine well, I said, I wish her well. Her boyfriend was, or maybe committed suicide. She's having a hard time right now.
I have to imagine his name is on the list someplace. He was a member at Mar-a-Lago. By the way, Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for being too weird. True story.
I mean, he also said he's a terrific guy who likes younger women, so.
He wishes everybody well. That's Trump. He's just a well-wishing guy.
Jeffries knew.
Oh, here is
This is how disingenuous that comment was.
What is happening with fucking Twitter today? Here's Bill O'Reilly.
Disingenuous.
Also on News Nation. News Nation is just really popping off with this stuff. If you can't go anywhere on television, you can go on News Nation to defend Trump. and also how he was not connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and there's nothing to see here. Julie K. Brown. Fact, Epstein was arrested in 2019. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general. Biden was not president. Trump was president. Bill Barr became attorney general that year. Trump then forced the U.S. attorney who brought the criminal case against Epstein to resign.
Disingenuous that comment was, and this is what infuriates me about these people. Jeffries knew the Biden administration had exactly the same thing the Trump administration has on Epstein. Exactly. Right. Because Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Not one time.
Wrong. Trump administration.
Did Hakeem Jeffries call for any exposition of what the Biden...
Hakeem Jeffries was not even a part of the I don't even think he was a part of the congressional representative at the time of his arrest. Not to defend Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah. He was arrested in 2019. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general, and Biden was not the president.
Justice Department knew. Not once.
Look, he's looking at the information. He's like, that's not correct.
So this guy's a top phony, okay? He's a political player. He doesn't care about the truth.
Wait,
he doesn't care about the people.
Bill,
This is what
hold on.
he does.
Hold on. You said Epstein was convicted during the Biden administration. Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
Yeah, so?
How is he convicted? How do you convict a guy who's dead?
Epstein was convicted in, I believe, okay, under Merrick Garland's Justice Department. That could be. Am I wrong on that?
This guy used to be the #1 Fox News political commentator, Chad. You don't understand. Some of you old heads know this because he bricked your parents' brains. Like half of this chat over the age of 30 has at least one parental figure that lost their damn minds because of this asshole on the right side of the screen right here, okay? It is mind-boggling. It is crazy that this man, the fall from grace, holy shit. Yeah, He was such a prolific sexual assaulter that it was a bridge too far for Fox News. Okay? He got fired from Fox News because he couldn't stop himself. Okay? He was just a rapacious little monster. Like, think about that. Think about how much rape Fox News allows as a part of the contract, basically, especially for their top talent. And look at him now. I mean, he's got kills. He's got direct kills. Okay? We talk about stochastic terrorism now. He has direct kills. He singled out Tiller. What was his name? George Tiller? A doctor. He kept calling him Tiller, the baby killer, every night. And then one of his freak-ass fans killed him for doing abortions. Like, that's how much of a powerful propagandist this man was. Never forget falafel. Oh, he loofah. There was some shit about the loofahs too. Remember when Bill O'Reilly's sex with some lady were leaked and he said he wanted to rub falafel on her pussy? Have sex with Macros in the shower. So anyway, I'd be rubbing your big boobs and getting your nipples really hard, kind of kissing your neck from behind. Then I would take the other hand with the falafel thing, which is a loofah, and I'd put it on your pussy. But you have to do it really light, just kind of a tease business. Yeah, he forgot the word loofah because he was so horny, so he said falafel. Wow, what a fall from grace.
I don't think so. And then he was incarcerated, and then he committed suicide. Okay. The suicide thing is bull. I know the New York coroner's office very, very well. There's no way those people in there put a phony report about a suicide. No.
Oh, my God.
Way. Impossible. And it's not hard to ascertain whether you.
Yeah, Bill, I think this is important. Bill, I think this is important.
He's like, I know the coroner's office really well. Bitch, you didn't even know what time frame Jeffrey Epstein was convicted.
He was arrested in 2019, and he committed suicide in 2019. He died August 10th of 2019. So the Biden administration was not involved in a conviction or a trial of him. They were of Elaine Maxwell.
Okay. And that's a good point of clarification. But he was arrested and indicted under Merrick Garland.
No, under Trump.
Who had all of the information.
Epstein was arrested, indicted, and committed suicide under Trump in 2019. Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Oh, he's so old. Oh, get Bill O'Reilly. You embarrassing charlatan. The only problem with dementia of this kind is that, like, he kind of doesn't even realize he's washed. But I hope he has at least enough mental fortitude to recognize that it's over for him.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yep, that's Bill O'Reilly. Piece of shit. All right. Oh,
What do you think? What are the things?
Last update? Trump called into One America News Network before we move on to Zohran Mamdani.
What do you think? What are the things are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this.
Not OAN, Real America Voice. Sorry, not One America News Network. Real America Voice. So I remember from the first Trump presidency when he's like really down and out, he would call in and do these phone conversation. He would do these like phone conversation media hits. Oftentimes in the morning, like he would call into the morning show on Fox News when he was like really desperate. Okay. When there was like a narrative that he was trying to get ahead of and he was trying to be everywhere all at once. And it seems like he's doing that right now. And the reason why he's going directly to Real America's Voice is because like this is, one of the more conspiratorial outlets out there. So he's just trying to get ahead of the narrative in the conspiracy slots.
The Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the...
And if it, like, he can't do this with like, he could probably do this with like Charlie Kirk, but I don't think he could do this with like Alex Jones right now. Because like, obviously the outlets are excited to have him. They're excited to have the president call in, right? This gives them a big boost. But there are most of those independent outlets that he could go to, the conspiracy outlets that he could go to, would probably ask a couple questions that would maybe make the situation worse for him. So he's not going to do that right now. Yeah, he's trying to corral the hog, so he's going to Real America's Voice.
They don't have the sustainability. They don't have there's something. They don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, you know, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything. But they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. But they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, too, because that's another hoax.
Yeah, he keeps saying hoax, but he doesn't explain what the hoax is, by the way, which is really funny.
That's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look at it all. Would that make you feel good, you think?
Well, I think it's in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, you know, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
They took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yeah. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
right,
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. But especially, you look at that Steele dossier where they paid like 14 or 16 million. That's more than James Patterson gets paid to do a #1 bestseller.
Isn't that crazy?
And the thing turned out to be a total scam. So frankly, you know, I think I love that they're looking at all this stuff. If they are, I hope they are.
Yeah, we've definitely confirmed it. They definitely are.
Mr. President, this is something that could give the American people answers on 3 different elections, 2016, 2020, and 2024. But to get that rolling, there are 2 sets of documents that are key to identifying possible conspiracy. But a grand jury can't see them unless you declassify them. Would you declassify the classified annex in the Hillary Clinton email case, as Senator Grassley has been asking?
Well, I would do that. I would do that, absolutely. I think it should be looked at. The whole thing was a scam.
Yeah.
And I would do that gladly.
Great. And there's one other one I want to mention. In the Durham report, they talk about the Clinton plan intelligence, the intercept where Hillary Clinton approves hanging that Russian shingle on your campaign house. That's another one that hasn't yet been declassified. Was that another one you'd consider declassifying?
I would declassify it, yeah. Why?
This is why he went on here, so they could talk about like all the other conspiracies, to cast the cloud of dispersion. Didn't Alan Dulles start the blackmail honeypot CIA operations? Like, there's so much evidence at this point. It's insane to call this a conspiracy theory at this point. Yes. He said so much of what they put in was fake with me. Oh, that's what he's saying is fake.
The Steele dossier was a total... I think it's, in the case of Epstein, they've already looked at it, and they are looking at it, and I think all they have to do is put out anything credible. But, you know, that was run by the Biden administration for 4 years. I can imagine what they put into files, just like they did with the others. I mean, the Steele dossier was a total fake.
Right.
They took 2 years to figure that out for the people. And all of the things that you mentioned were fake. Yeah. So I would imagine if they were run by Chris Wray and they were run by Comey, and because it was actually even before that administration,
right,
they've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. But especially, you look at that Steele.
Oh, yeah, he's saying the things that are related to me, they're fake. Yeah, all the stuff that are about me, the things that are about me in the files is fake. Okay, well, that's enough confirmation that, like, now we know why. Now we know why he doesn't want to release the files, you know? All right, big dog.
You know, because there was a...
Some Republicans break with the White House on Epstein files. Just release the damn files, Tom Tillis says.
Maybe somebody was wrong. Maybe they embellished a little bit about what was in the contents of the file. Apologize for it. Get this off the table. It's sucking up too much oxygen. And we all deserve that. We all should know.
Let's go to Sahil Kapoor live for us on Capitol Hill. Okay, Sahil, so the president wants Republicans to basically move on. He's making that really clear, even by putting himself at arm's length from some of his own core supporters inside the MAGA movement. He wants them to move on.
One of the funniest things that has taken place is that Tom Tillis got so many fucking death threats from Deborahs and the Barbaras that he quite literally, one, tried to tank Trump's bill, failed to do so, but he still voted against it, and is now retiring. So when someone tells you, oh, your voice doesn't matter, okay, It turns out it absolutely fucking does. Especially if that voice is a voice of a Deborah or a Barbara. Okay? If it's the voice of a Hank who has the raspy voice of like a 65-year-old veteran. Okay? It turns out when you're getting a flood of death threats from people who are so oblivious and so perfectly confident in their position that they are revealing what their home address is while issuing an active death threat to a fucking sitting congressperson. Turns out that does have an impact.
Will they?
That has not been happening so far, to put it mildly, Hallie. This issue is getting sustained attention in MAGA world from conservative influencers and in the so-called manosphere, podcasters who have a high volume of listeners and who supported Donald Trump in the last election. It's being met there with a mix of disapproval, criticism, even mockery in some cases. Now, Trump is usually good at redirecting attention when he comes under fire, tending to pin the blame elsewhere. Let's take a look at what he's saying this time around.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
Now, this claim, Hallie, is not landing well with Trump's own base. Many of them are emotionally invested in this idea that Trump, if elected, would expose a giant conspiracy surrounding the Epstein files. And his campaign did fuel that perception. These figures, these voters are not ready to let that go at this point. Now, they tried first doing what, is part of the MAGA playbook. When this sort of thing happens in the administration, they found someone else to blame. They tried blaming AG Pam Bondi. Then Trump came out with his guys and gals social media post defending Bondi, which made clear that she was ultimately acting on his behalf. One thing we're seeing now on Capitol Hill, a new effort by Congressman Tom Massey, who has had a frosty relationship, let's say, with Donald Trump, saying he's introducing a discharge petition to force the issue of the release of the Epstein files. He says, quote, "We all deserve to know what's in the Epstein files, who's implicated, and how deep this corruption goes. Americans were promised justice and transparency," unquote. What does this mean? It's essentially a way to get around House Republican leadership and force this to a vote. You need a majority of the House, so only a handful of Republicans if all Democrats end up supporting it. He already has at least one Republican co-sponsor to sign the discharge petition. That is Marjorie Taylor Greene, a staunch ally in almost every other case of Donald Trump, siding with Tom Massey in opposition effectively to the administration's position here, Hallie.
So we're watching that on Capitol Hill. And then in sort of the political ecosystem, if you will, there's this question of when the president puts his own MAGA supporters, some of them at arm's length, how do they respond, right? Like, is that going to have a political impact? It's probably too soon to say, although there are some new numbers, Saho, that maybe give us an early snapshot.
Why is he not dropping Pam Bondi? Good question. Probably because it's already really difficult to get any sort of appointment at this point passed through Congress. And number two, Pam's the fall guy. Because the real issue here is not Pam Bondi. The real issue is Trump doesn't want to release these files. That's it. Like, what makes you think that it's actually Pam Bondi that's a genuine hurdle in front of the release of these files? Pam Bondi is a Trump loyalist through and through. When Pam Bondi says, like, "Oh, I'm not going to release this shit," like, or there's nothing in it, nothing to see here, that's because Trump told her to say that. So what? You're going to get a new attorney general, already difficult to pass through this Congress, especially now. There's a lot of attention on this. Okay, fine. You got a new attorney general. Sure. What's that new attorney general going to do? They're going to ask the same questions to them. Is he just going to keep firing attorney generals over and over again? Keep burning through attorney generals? Because ultimately, it's not up to the AG. It's up to the president.
Yeah, that's right. This shows that even President Trump's influence over the MAGA base is finite. This new Quinnipiac poll shows overall how the country feels about his handling of the Epstein files.
17%, dude. The fact that this is not even at 30 implies that there are at least half of Trump's loyalists are off the boat on this.
Just 17% approve, 63% disapprove. Now, the approval number is so low because among Republicans, it breaks about even between approval and disapproval, which is highly unusual.
Told you. Yeah. Under normal circumstances, Republicans would be at like 75, 80%, right? This is the first time you're seeing 17%.
Generally, Trump gets very high approval rating from self-identified Republicans. And this Quinnipiac poll, Hallie, also shows that more than half of Republicans say they are following this issue of the Epstein files very or somewhat closely. It has escape velocity.
That's the funniest thing, is that like Republicans care more about this than Democrats do, which is why you're seeing that 50-50 point swing here. But in any case, make no mistake, there is unprecedented opportunity to drive a wedge within the base of support for MAGA, but seemingly the Democrats will fail to capitalize on that. Let's see.
The bottom line is this. Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. What are we talking about here? All right, the Democrats versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot, the margins. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, ahead by 7 points. And now they're only ahead by 2 points. Their lead is less than half of where it was in either 2017 or 2005 in July of those years, the year before.
Holy Toledo!
For the midterm election. Yes, Donald Trump may be unpopular, but Democrats have not come anywhere close to sealing the deal at this particular point.
Yeah, wave looks very different.
Yes.
All right.
One of the biggest Trump dick riders I know has finally drawn the line in this, took it pretty hard, changed his PFP to an all-black circle, 36 years old. Dude, the bigger of a dick rider you are of Donald Trump, the more you care about this. I just want the UFO files. You a fair assessment, dude. I appreciate it. I was agreeing. No harm. The more you care about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, because you like Trump, because you thought he was like an anti-establishment figure. You deluded yourself into thinking that he was going to be the elite pedophile deep state destroyer.
This is the generic ballot test. This is when you test people in the generic question. Of course, the House races aren't generic. There are 435 of them. What happens when you go race by race?
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with the GOP president, like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans. Actually, Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report, when you add in the likelies, the leans, and the toss-up races. So it's not just on the generic ballot where Democrats are behind their 2017 and 2005 pace. It's actually when it comes seat by seat, you see that, at least at this particular point, Republicans actually have more net pickup opportunities. This doesn't look anything like.
Thank you for the 100 gifted subs. Holy Toledo! Open Presents, sponsoring the Piker Broadcasting Service all the way from the beautiful, glorious nation of Qatar.
Those wave elections back in 2006 or 2018.
If it doesn't look anything like those years, what does it look like?
Okay, so what does it look like? Well, let's take a look back at the generic congressional ballot. What was going on in Ipsos in October of 2024? Democrats were ahead by 2 points. Look at where we are now. Democrats ahead by 2 points among registered voters.
Yeah, the reason why the Trump failures are not translating to positive benefits for the Democrats on the generic ballot is because it's the same shitty-ass Democrats. It's also the same reason why Trump's approval ratings will dip to a certain degree, but will stay fairly consistent and won't, because 80% of the base will hold on to Donald Trump, with the exception of the Epstein stuff, right? Whereas the reason why the Democrats have lower approval ratings than the Republicans right now is because at least there are people who like the Republicans within the base of support for the Republican Party, but there is no one in the base of support for the Democrats that like the Democrats. This is the identical thing that was happening in the election cycle leading up to Biden's swap out, where I kept repeating over and over again, the polls show people don't want Biden, polls show people don't want Biden consistently for years. And then they swapped him out for Kamala. And Kamala actually enjoyed tremendous popular support because they had actually listened to the wishes of the public. It was one of those unique instances where the public wishes and the wishes of the base of the real constituents, the donor class, were in line with one another. They were aligned. There is no one that wants business as usual politics in the Democratic Party. It's that simple.
This particular point, this election cycle looks a lot more like 2024 than it does than either 2018 or 2006. And so, of course, Republicans actually held onto the House back in 2024. Will it happen this time around? We'll just have to wait and see. But for anyone who's writing the Republican House's political obituaries, hold the phone. This is a reality check. Republicans are still very much in the game.
Harriet, and that'll be quite a reality check, I think, for a lot of Democratic voters.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bro, I keep trying to move away from the Epstein stuff, and you guys keep bringing me back in. It's crazy. Les Wexner, the former Jeffrey Epstein associate and chairman emeritus of the holding company that owned the Limited, L brand, Abercrombie & Fitch, Victoria's Secret, and other major brands, is the new owner of Blue Heron Farm in Martha's Vineyard. Blue Heron Farm is the property of the Obamas, rented for several years during the summers. While they were in the White House, the billionaire purchased a home from the family architect Norman Foster. Stop it. Bro, I'll never forget that night when she said the most lethal military after you got kicked out and our entire world came crumbling down. I had suspicions that Kamala Harris was not going to be even present herself as like a progressive beacon. But all of that was solidified after that night, the last night of the DNC. That's when I was like, it's over. It's done. You can go back and watch my commentary when I listened to her speech the last night of the DNC. Every single thing I reported on there came true. Maureen Comey, federal prosecutor in the case against Jeffrey Epstein, and the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, has been fired from the U.S. Attorney Office. We already talked about this. All right. Let's get to Zohran Mamdani. Oh, last thing on the Epstein stuff. In 2005, when Epstein was caught in Florida for rampant child prostitution of 14 and 16-year-olds, he hired Alan Dershowitz, to intimidate local witnesses, hired the spouse of the local prosecutor, conflicting her out of the process, gave huge donations to police, hired private investigators to tell local police attempting to gather evidence, and then surveillance footage and other evidence from his home disappeared. Not only that, but also investigators to intimidate FBI agents, as a matter of fact. So just remember that. Suspicious. But I digress.